Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to, I say the pool, Adam, if you were to visit my website, you type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site. Adam, hola.
Hola, Tom.
All right. May I educate you how to say Happy Veterans Day in Spanish?
Sí.
Feliz Dia de los Veteranos.
I never would have guessed.
That came from my Escuela de Calle La Placita market in my barrio, a cashier.
Cashier. You call it a street school. I like that.
So I am at Hoboken, the famous town of the late Frank Sinatra. It was his hometown. And it's funny, Hoboken is, everyone in Hoboken knows that this was Frank's town, even the teenagers who work at Starbucks.
And I am poolside in the great North American desert.
That's the first time I've seen your pool. It looks awesome, Adam. So I just...
It's one of two on the property.
This is the bigger one?
No, this is the smaller one. This is the one closest to my house, though.
Okay. So what has happened this week is the middle-aged receptionist job just got more interesting.
I believe it did.
In addition to being... well, it's not really this week. I mean, we're too early in the week, but it's last week that the change happened. We just didn't do it's the week preceding this credit card debt talk. So what's happened is we had 3 referrals sent to me, and I will give a brief profile on each of them. All 3 of them Philadelphia.
I have another one for you too.
Good. So, however, we won't talk about that on this call, right? We'll do that separately?
Well, we'll do that separately because I haven't reviewed the case yet, but it's going to you tomorrow.
Okay. So these 3 and their needs and how they met the program, Adam, I know you've seen a lot more files than I have, but this is a pretty broad range. The specificities of these cases that I got
are all very different.
All very different. I was hoping you would agree. So there's the woman who is in Philadelphia. She has a couple of homes. One is a rental. She's having trouble with a tenant paying rent. She has considering surrendered the house to the bank. And as the last-ditch effort, she has reached out to us through the person who referred it to us to have the lien removed on the property. And I think there's a real nice lesson in there between credit repair and our program, and I'm going to prompt you on that later. Then the second one is the one who has completed an enrollment. He's the only one of the 3 who has. He came referred through the same credit repair, and he's an ideal client. How he's able to pay in one lump sum is not my business. Although it's ideal, and it's also could be necessary because all 4 of his accounts
are already in collections.
They're already in charge. Well, I was going to say charge off. Is that an important difference or not?
Not really. Charge off is a stage of the collections process.
Okay, so obviously getting money sooner from someone who's that delinquent is good, and getting all of it upon enrollment is best. So he's an absolutely awesome client with about 20,000 in debt. Then the third one is absolutely great. I'm going to mention him by first name. He is not a guy who avoids the public eye, and his name is Sam. And I now have a video in my YouTube channel introducing his book. So Sam, I'm going to touch on first, but I think I'm going to leave this up to you who we talk about, Adam. But Sam is really funny. He spent some time in jail, and he wrote a book. Great. I was going to help him promote his book. The idea of him writing it kind of deteriorated. In a series of phone calls, he ends up telling me that his book is really a collection of notes, and he wanted me to write it for him.
Right.
So we were a little out of sync because I had this fun idea, which is illustrated in my YouTube audio. When I met this guy, first talked to him, that I would promote his book, and all of a sudden he's imagining me being the author. So I said, Sam, I'm not saying no, but it is definitely not a yes. This is a big project. Don't know if I have time for it. I love the story. Anyway,
It's
so Adam,
interesting.
pick it up from there. You comment on who you think is best for this call, given the amount of time you have and the content.
Well, Suleiman's just a typical client, so let's just put him aside. I don't mind using people's first names. Um, Maria. Maria's an atypical client, so let's talk about her. Tom,
Yeah.
are you still there? I don't see you.
Yes.
I thought maybe you were swallowed by the Hoboken bunny.
You see, that's the Hoboken terminal. You
I
probably
see
have.
the Hobo. I've been to the Hoboken terminal, and from the view that you have, it looks a lot like Times Square. Not Times Square, like oh my God,
Grand Central.
42nd Street. Yeah, Grand Central. Thank you. It
It's
does look a lot like Grand Central from the view you have behind you,
yeah, it's newer than Grand Central by a couple of decades, but it's definitely a similar inspiration, more ornate.
and a similar outlay. The
Yeah.
layout is very similar. Anyway, let's talk about Maria. Maria gave back a property, and yet the lien remains on her credit. They can't clean it off because credit repair doesn't work with legal stuff. Credit repair only works with the credit bureaus. Are you with me?
Yes.
You keep disappearing. What we're going to be able to do is find out why they're holding the lien to her, despite the fact that she's not responsible for the property they're leaning on. And it's probably due to some back fees or something of that nature. Get them settled and get that lien removed. Then she has several other small debts, I believe.
Okay, Adam, I think there's an opportunity to illustrate the difference between credit repair and your services, debt settlement,
Credit
because
repair,
credit
it's simple.
repair took it off the credit report. However, the
Right.
problem isn't really fixed. It's just kind of it's sort of like a Harry Potter washover. It didn't really fix the problem.
Right. In other words, credit repair whitewashed a rotted fence. It didn't fix the fence. It didn't replace the fence. It just whitewashed over the fence.
Right.
When a wind blows, the fence falls down. Our job is to fix the fence.
Now, Adam, I've heard something different in your account versus what I understand. So just repeat again. What do you believe her status of the property is? She is owner, or has she been foreclosed?
Well, that depends. We have to check with the banks. If she's been foreclosed, then the lien is no longer valid and she just has to fill out a form and the lien will be dropped because it's no longer her property.
Okay, so when I talked to her, which was almost 2 weeks ago now, she was considering a voluntary, surrendering. Just.
That's called a deed in lieu.
Hmm.
That is where you turn your deed back over to the bank in lieu of foreclosure.
So, which do you think it is? Do you think I was got the right information when I first talked to her, and it's changed? Do you think she owns the
I don't think
property or
it's
not?
changed. I think she's having trouble explaining it.
I agree with you.
I think she is in emotional turmoil and
Yeah,
not thinking clearly and not able to express exactly what she is going through.
yeah. And
That's what I
Ramsey's,
think.
I agree, because Ramsey's story doesn't seem to be. Ramsey is the credit repair pro who referred her to us, and that's the sense I'm getting. Now,
Right.
you probably are aware that I've essentially turned her back to the credit repair company because she hasn't responded in the last couple of days. She hasn't responded
Hopefully
after.
she'll be back because we can help her.
Yeah, and
There's no doubt that we can help her. We do have a registered Philadelphia attorney who would be more than willing to check with the courts to see if the lien is against a property that she still owns or not. And once that's checked, if she still owns it, we may be able to resolve it without foreclosure. We
so
may be able to modify her loan and keep her in her property.
right. So Adam, the idea that this is, it's obviously already gone through a judgment they've taken action on the judgment. They put a lien on the property. It's even further complicated because she doesn't know which one of her two lawsuits has liened her property. So you have to find out which one before settling it.
Not
And
so
her
hard to do. It can be looked up on the Pennsylvania Unified Court System.
so I've kind of used this, Adam, as a promotional for your services because you don't walk away from these deals just because they're not right in the middle of the road. There's some little twisted look at this one. Say more. What do you take, and what's some of the variation you'll consider that other pros doing debt settlement don't?
Oh, most debt settlement companies wouldn't even look twice at a deal like Maria's. Um, and the problem for them is there's too much legwork involved in finding out which judgment created the lien and then going back and settling a judgment. Most of them don't take judgments.
Most of them don't take judgments. In addition to that, we don't know the amount of this debt, but it could be a debt that is less than the minimum that most companies take. Could you say more about that?
Well, I doubt that. To create a lien, the debt would have to be a 4-digit number, so I wouldn't worry much. They're not going to lien a property for $250 or $500. They're only going to lien a property if they're over 1,000.
And in a single account for 1,000, other companies would take that? No.
Well, not if that's the only debt they have. No.
That's the only one she wants, Adam. She doesn't care about her credit. She just wants to. Maybe she does later, but at the moment, she just wants to get this house fixed.
Yeah, that's the problem with debt settlement, the greed. On $1,000 debt, I'm going to make very little money. In fact, I'll be lucky if I make $200.
Right. So
for the time spent, which is going to be about 2 hours. My average is about 4 times that normally.
So given that it's come from a credit repair company, this relationship is important to you. Taking that has an increased value to you. Am I correct?
Yes, it has a personal value to me. I mean, it is a friend of ours who owns that credit repair company. And therefore, if he's asking for this favor, I will gladly do it.
Right.
If this client had wandered into my office, I would take it then that way too, though. It's not just because it's referred by that credit repair company.
Okay, this is
I
a good
don't
point.
turn down a client who needs our help, who can afford to pay for our help.
Right. So this is this is a good point. So in other words, this is not a bullseye. This is not the target client. However, if you come to a client like this by chance, this is the kind of work you are willing to do, and you can perform when other companies sort of walk away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one more shot of the trees. You've always wanted me to highlight the grounds here when I talk to you. So,
so Adam, the other thing I want to comment on is the conclusion of this client that consumed a disproportionately large amount of this call. She had been calling me a number of times, and therefore she ended up into our dialogue in Credit Card Debt Talk. In the grand scheme of your client collection,
well, what I'd like to do is do a rewind, though, and talk about your expanded duties.
All right. Well, so let me just summarize on her, though, because I know we have a few people who are literally listening to 100% of what we say. It's not a lot. It's probably a handful, Adam, but it's not zero. So if they've been following the woman from Orange County, Adam has settled one of her debts. It was in judgment. It has been paid, and that client has received a document and acknowledged the receiving of that document. She knows the one that was making her most crazy has been completed and documented, and she rests. One is still standing, but they seem to be sitting on the judgment without taking action. So she came into the dialogue Adam and I have had on this phone call. We spent a disproportionate large amount of time on it just because of the client's nervousness about the situation.
Nervousness is an understatement.
Nervousness is, we have a different account on that. Let's not explore it here. So the net is that client's situation is now stabilized, and at the moment she is calm and not calling middle-aged receptionist. So go ahead to what you want to talk about, Adam.
Well, middle-aged receptionist is now middle-aged liaison.
Okay.
This particular credit repair company that we've been talking about.
With Ramsey.
Yes, with Ramsey at the helm, although he's not the owner of it. Um, they are sending us. We've opened the lines up for them again, and they're sending us a lot of potential clients. And I've expanded your middle-age receptionist duties to include introduction and literally selling them into the program, even though it's not a sale so much as it is an interview.
Okay, so as attracting an affiliate is what you're talking about.
Well, I have the affiliate already. They are an affiliate. They're just not a registered. They're an unregistered affiliate. And
Yeah,
since they are
Adam.
an unregistered affiliate, all of the people that they bring to my company go through you before they can come to us.
Oh, okay. And you want to keep it like that, or you want to get them direct?
I want to keep it like that. A, it allows me to expand your duties and expand your earnings. And B, it takes a lot of extra headache off of us because I have 5 other active affiliates sending us deals that we have to do all the liaisoning for.
So you have other affiliates that are doing this uh, unregistered affiliate. They're
I
doing
have 2 other
referrals, not
unregistered
enrollment.
and 5 registered.
Adam, is this the right word for it? They're doing referrals, not enrollments.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. They're referring. And when they refer, it means someone in my office has to do selling, sort of. It's not really selling because it's not cold call and you're not explaining everything from top to bottom. They've already been explained a little bit about what we do, but their interest is only peaked. They haven't been given the details. So you're basically giving them the details of the program and making sure that they're okay with it. And if they are, you're signing them up.
However, these people are usually already a client of the credit repair company that's referring them, correct or incorrect?
Correct. Correct. They are all usually credit repair clients who cannot move forward with credit repair until they do something about the amount they owe.
Well, Adam, that's really nice because, as you know, the if they sign up for credit repair, it's a no-brainer. Give us some money, we fix your credit. Ciao. It's a very simple process. And as you know, the
For the
services.
client, it is. For the company, it's not quite so simple,
No,
but that's
I
okay.
understand. I'm speaking on behalf of the client, but then all of a sudden they get a 26-page contract, is what yours is. It's got these very frightening, potentially frightening disclaimers, warnings. It's a whole different thing. So if
We
these
went
people
over
get
all those warnings, by the way, in a previous debt talk. So for those who do listen, you can go back and review them. It was 2 weeks ago.
right,
Two weeks ago, we went over all these warnings that sound so scary, but are actually quite timid.
yeah, they're modest compared to the potential gains if the client's needs match the services.
Correct.
Adam, what I'm saying though is that gap. All of a sudden, I start talking to them about a much more serious program that comes with some risk. That credit repair really has no risks. I mean, the worst thing that can happen in credit repair is they're not able to do anything, and you lose a little bit of money. With allowing a delinquency to continue on someone's record, the risk of that judgment becoming aggressive is much more significant than any bad thing that can happen in credit repair. So
True.
suddenly, anytime these clients get a little nervous, and they stop talking to me for understandable reasons, I can kind of fish them back out of the credit repair, and that's what I'm attempting to do with Maria, who we talked about earlier.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, though, instead of when you and I both used to cold call for a debt settlement company that is now out of business because they were not doing the right thing by their clients. But when we called for that particular company, we were calling blind. We were calling someone we knew had debt, but that was all we knew, nothing else. These people that are coming to us, they've not only been referred, they've had an overview, a very brief overview of what they're being sent to us for. They were told in order for their credit to be repaired, they must pay off their debt, and they can do so at a very large discount by using our services. So it's a much easier sale than when we used to sell cold.
Right,
For instance, I mentioned his name once, Suleiman.
right.
It was a pleasure for him to speak to you about it and to know how it worked. He came prepared. He listened to your entire thing as you explained it all to him, took it in, and took him less than 24 hours to say, yes, I want to do that.
Yeah, and then he signs a
The same day we
26-page
sent him
document
the
without a
paperwork,
professional there saying sign here, sign here, sign here. He signed in all the right places, filled in all the right boxes, and then he scans an email. I mean, this guy's a superstar. And
yes, he is. He is. He's someone who knows how to follow directions.
right,
And when you have a
right,
client that knows how to follow directions, you have a very successful program 99.9% of the time.
right. As I read once, that the number one reason that a federal income tax form
Gets
filing
rejected,
is, I think we're going to agree on this. What are you going to say?
a person forgets to sign it.
Yeah, exactly. So Sully is signed 26 times, I think. I
Nope,
don't think you have to sign
29 times in total.
29 times. Oh, that includes
All
global.
26 pages, and the global pages require 2 signatures per page. So
All right, I'm going to mention something about Sam's bankruptcy, Adam, and then let's just wrap up. You
Sam's
have anything
bankruptcy.
else? So
No, let's wrap it up because I got to get back in.
Sam's this client who came to us through through the attorney George. George, Adam, I kind of think you think Sam came through Ramsey, and he did not. He came directly to George through some referral locally in Philadelphia. So he went from
No,
George.
no, it wasn't from Ramsey. It was from Ramsey's boss.
Yeah, but Sam claims he had nothing to do with credit repair. That he just came right
No,
through
no,
George.
he didn't do credit repair. He was referred to George by Ramsey's boss.
Okay.
He,
So whatever the case, it was a very simple math. Once I had Sam's credit repair, I was able to say, okay, what do you want to fix? Here's what I recommend. If you want to get the program down to the absolute minimum, just to, these specific accounts that have the larger balances, these are the ones that represent a greater risk that could mess up your financial life, because if they're the ones more likely to become judgments, they're the ones more likely to chase you aggressively for the money. These other ones, the $300 and $400 and $500 are much less likely. Anything 500 and above are close. Adam who's willing to take those, but they're really not necessary. The ones that are 1,000 or better, those are the ones that represent risk in terms of legal and in terms of judgments, in terms of garnishments and all the bad stuff that you don't want to have happen to you. So we said, okay, he basically chose the minimum plan. He said, okay, let's just add up the ones that represent risk in terms of a judgment. So we went that route. I added them up, and it turns out we
we came to an impasse.
It turns out the simple math was, in order to get a program that was short enough that would allow you to actually do his work, he had to be about $300 or $350 a month. Well, at the moment, he's only able to pay $100 a month.
And we could not help him at that.
Yeah, it ends up calculating. I said, Sam, if you paid $100 a month, this is a 78-month program. I mean, Adam can strategically buy time, allowing his clients to save money, but we can stretch it up to 3 years. But certainly stretching it up to 78 months is far too much, and you just won't have the money in the right place.
Yeah, that's 6.5 years. That's more than twice the amount of time.
So this is a no-brainer, Sam. These accounts represent the kind of risk to you. There's enough of them. They're high enough in value. You just have to get some protection for these. And if it's not by saving in a program like Adam has, you got to file bankruptcy, and you got to file bankruptcy soon. And he took those words to heart. Would you say more about that, Adam?
He not only took them to heart, he asked us for a referral to a legitimate bankruptcy attorney who could help him, which we supplied. And from what I understand, it's going to take him very, very little time, 2 to 3 months, to have enough money to pay for a bankruptcy. This will clear his record, since he already has a record with the penal system.
Right.
The two will be disappearing simultaneously. It's not doing any additional damage. The damage was already done by his criminal record.
Right.
So, the criminal record prohibits a lot more than the credit record will. The two will fall off of his history as long as he does the right thing from here on out, about the same time, allowing him to get back to life.
Right.
On that note, I have to close for me.
All right. I'll do your contact information and stuff after you say ciao. So ciao, Adam. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Ciao, Tom. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Feliz Dia de los
Dia de los Veteranos.
Ciao.
Ciao.
So Adam Strum, I use the phrase "Great North American Desert near Sky Harbor International." The phone number that I answered for Adam 4 days, 4 hours, 8 hours, 4 days a week, 8 hours a week is 866-516-1985. And this is the beautiful, historic Hoboken Terminal. Once again, Adam's website is financialrescuers.com, and his services are debt settlement. This has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, a restful night's sleep. Ciao.